Hey, good morning, folks. It's Randy Wilburn here from I Am Northwest Arkansas. It's actually afternoon, but who's keeping track, right? It's the summertime, and we are enjoying ourselves right now. I'm excited today because we are having a special live stream event to coincide with the recent release of a podcast episode on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast that we did with the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever ridden down 265 on the highway there on the road, what's really a road, but it feels like a highway that kind of runs parallel to I-49 on the east side of Northwest Arkansas, you will run right into the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. You can't miss it. If you ride up by Lake Fayetteville, if you ride the trail, you can't miss it. It's just a beautiful facility. It's a beautiful location. It's bucolic, if I could use that word to describe it. It's very serene, and it's also a really good place to go and meditate. And it's a place that I must admit, I had never really spent any time at, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that because I literally live like less than a mile away from the facility. But I got a chance over the past month or so to get more familiar with the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks, and today I'm going to make a case for why you should become more familiar with the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks and why it is an oasis, it's a sanctuary, it could be a home away from home for you. It's a place to learn, to live, and just to be excited about. And so that's why we did the podcast, because we wanted to highlight what we think is one of the crown jewels of Northwest Arkansas, which is this botanical garden. But then today we decided, you know what, let's bring on the executive director, Ashley Wardlow, who has been on the job for about 7 or 8 months now. She joined the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks last December, and the cool kids call it BGO, but for all of us, we're just going to call it the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks today. But Ashley Wardlow was kind enough to join us today, and I'm really excited to bring her on the podcast and just say hello to her. So, Ashley, how are you doing today?
Randy, I am doing great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, and I am thrilled that we have made such a positive impression that you are back for more BGO content. Happy to help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things where, like I said, and I meant every word that I said. It is. You guys have, in a very short period of time since the inception of the botanical garden, have really made an impression in our community here in Northwest Arkansas. And again, I'm ashamed to say that I didn't really take advantage of it until now. And so, but it's better late than never. And I had talked to several people that kind of looked at me like I was crazy that I had never been there, but it's all good. I have fixed that. I spent an hour inside of the butterfly sanctuary, which is, it's kind of otherworldly to just say the least. But there's a video on our podcast which will show you more about that experience. But I spent an hour in there, and enchanted would be a really good word to describe the experience that I had.
I'm obviously biased, but I couldn't agree more. This is one of my favorite places to hang out. And as I think about the opportunities ahead for the garden, for me, it's to get more and more Randy Wilburns into BGO. You
Yeah.
mentioned at the top of the session, we have such great proximity to the Greenway Trail, for example. As I think about growing our membership base, extending an ever wider welcome to our entire Northwest Arkansas community, that's one of the things that's top of mind for me as a new leader.
Yeah. Well, no, and certainly we welcome you to this new role, and we're excited about what the prospects hold for not just you, but for our community to just become aware of this gem that is right there on 265 on the east side of town in Fayetteville as you head up 265 going towards Springdale. And you one of the things you reminded me of in an earlier correspondence that we had was that, even though you're in Fayetteville, you are the botanical garden of the Ozarks, which is all of Northwest Arkansas. And I think it's important for everybody to understand that for people in Bella Vista and Eureka Springs, Siloam, this is their botanical garden. Is that correct?
Well said. I could not have put that better myself. And as we think about our region's growing interest in outdoor recreation, certainly that's another thing that I've got sights on alongside our board. You're thinking about BGO as certainly a convener. We are a place that connects people with nature, but also with one another. And how do we invite more and more people in to share that story, share our mission, and enjoy the great outdoors that we have and the access that we've got here in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, so one question that I did have for you is how are you hoping to engage the community? What plans do you have at your level as executive director in terms of just generating interest and just it's like with anything that we do nowadays in this hyper awareness world that we're in, we're trying to create awareness of things. And so how are you going to stimulate and encourage community engagement with the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, one strategy is appearing on cool podcasts like this one. So thanks again for the invite.
Don't make me
Uh,
blush. So,
Joking aside, I certainly take really seriously the opportunity that I have to be the face of the garden. But we've got a phenomenal team as well. I know when you sat down with us originally, you were with Lane Berry. She has since moved on to another stellar garden just up the road, the Peel Compton Foundation, and we wish her all the best. But I think one of the things that I look at as I consider the past of the garden and what we've done well so far is we've done a really fantastic job of telling our story over the back fence. So if you look at our data as it relates to daily admission, who's coming to our events, who's participating in our many educational offerings, no surprise, you're going to see a lot of Fayetteville folks. You're going to see a lot of zip codes from Springdale, and then you're going to see a decent amount from our friends up in Benton County. But as someone who has spent the better part of a decade living in and loving Fayetteville, but working up in Bentonville, I have a real interest in making sure that we are top of mind and an amenity that is considered in the same breath for our Benton County folks as a Mayseum or a Crystal Bridges or a Peel Compton. I think that's something that we definitely have our sights set on.
yeah, and it's funny because I think I had mentioned this to you, or maybe I didn't. One of my goals with the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, and we're in our fifth year of doing this, is really creating awareness, not just for people that are thinking about moving here, about calling Northwest Arkansas home, but also creating awareness for people that actually live here already. And I don't know about
Mhm.
you, Ashley, and we don't necessarily even live that far apart, but are you always amazed when you talk to people that aren't aware that there is a botanical garden here in Northwest Arkansas?
I am, but I am not. I definitely think that we've done a fantastic job of spreading the news, engaging the members of our community who maybe are also involved in some phenomenal programs like the Master Gardeners Association, the Master Naturalists. You mentioned newcomers to the area. We're all, with a few exceptions. I think so many of us now in Northwest Arkansas are transplants. One of the things that I'm thinking about is you've just moved here from across the country. You've bought your house. You've got a green space of some varying size. And the first thing you've got to figure out how to do is, how do I make this feel like home? How do I put my stamp on this garden or this backyard? I think there's a real opportunity for BGO to be part of that welcome to Northwest Arkansas, and then to impart some of that educational awareness, that horticultural expertise that I don't possess, but a number of our team members do, and to really be that trusted resource that's part of what makes Northwest Arkansas ultimately not just a great place to move, but a place to stay.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about that. I just, as I was listening to you, it is something that I wasn't aware of when I first moved here, but I know somebody that works at the U of A, and they spent a lot of time encouraging me to consider planting native species of
Mhm.
plants because it does make a bigger difference for us in terms of drought resistance. They are more friendly to the environment as a whole because we have a lot of invasive species in Arkansas as a whole when it comes to plants. But then also, just in Northwest Arkansas. And so I think there's a lot of education to be had about the proper way to landscape in your community, landscape in your home, and how to really take advantage of all of the beautiful native species that Arkansas is responsible for.
I agree. And hey, anything that means less watering in this weather, I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah, and so wanted to ask you, just to kind of walk us through just a little introduction to the educational aspects that the Botanical Garden offers, including the fact that you have several theme gardens. You have
Yes.
a number of educational programs, and again, that fabulous butterfly sanctuary, which everybody needs to visit before the butterflies take a nap for the winter. They need to come by and check that out. And you guys are actually having, as we're speaking of this today, we're recording this on Thursday, July 18th. But on the 20th, you guys have an event at the Botanical Gardens that anybody listening to this, if they hear this before that event, should probably come out. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So that's Firefly Fling. My fairy wings are just out of shot, but they are all things glittery. I cannot wait to put them on and go out and enjoy the garden. So we open up at 5. It's every midsummer that we open the garden up to our guests from 5 to 10, light it up, and invite folks in to join us in embracing the magic of nature. We will be overrun with whimsy, pirates, mermaids, fairies. Oh my! There's a unicorn that I've been told is coming, and of course, from an economic development perspective, this is a really great way for us to highlight and feature more than 2 dozen local artists, performers, small businesses, entrepreneurs who own food trucks who are going to come out and set up a food truck court for us, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. We will also be hosting. Live music performances by Jukebox. There's a fire dance performance, and then we're going to bring it all home with what else? A laser light show. So, just your typical day at BGO. I am glad that you mentioned education because that is at the heart of so much of what we do. Certainly, that'll be on the docket for the plans this Saturday. Our attendees will get the chance, as you said, to see the state's only butterfly house in real life and to learn firsthand about our pollinators, specifically fireflies and butterflies. So lots of good things to do and see this weekend at the garden. And we hope folks will come out if they're able to join us.
Well, and I think people should come if this is their initial introduction into the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. This would be a great event for them to come to. But can you just talk to our audience about how they can not just come for one event, but to really get involved with the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks?
I would love to. Yeah, so we're talking a little bit about education, and there are so many ways that we actually activate on that part of our mission. It can be everything from on the formal kind of more scheduled side. We offer some really great classes, not just for children, but for adults as well. So if you are interested in continuing your education at any stage of your life, we are a great opportunity for that. We host field trips, and they are some of my favorite things that we get to do at the garden. It is always a good day when you get 3 or 4 school buses pulling up and letting kids out into this beautiful space that we enjoy together. I will add to that, even informally in the garden, we have got a number of different ways that we're pursuing, again, that maybe that hobby gardener, that beginning gardener, that newcomer to Northwest Arkansas. Top of mind is we are expanding our plant labeling in the garden. Not necessarily something that you need if you are a master gardener or a master naturalist. You likely can spot your favorites among our 7 acres. But if you are new to town or if you are, more like me, I think it's going to be helpful in a way that educates and empowers people to go home, take that inspiration back to their home green spaces, whether that is a little flower box or a pot of plants that's on your patio or a great big suburban backyard.
Yeah, and it is when I walked through your property and the campus there, I said, this is actually a place that I could come to learn some things. I have a mini green thumb, not a big one, but I definitely realize that there's a lot to be learned about plants, about gardening, about soil, soil amendments and things that make the experience much better. And as I always tell people, there's something physically amazing about just putting your hands in soil, in dirt, and allowing them to just settle there. There's scientific fact behind the calming nature of being able to kind of connect yourself with the earth. And so there, I can't think of a better place to do that than the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks.
We always say, you may arrive at BGO not feeling great, not happy, but chances are when you leave, you're going to be having a much better day.
So my last question for you is, as for anybody listening to this, I understand that you have memberships to the Botanical Gardens. Can you just kind of walk us through how somebody that's listening, that's saying, you know what, I actually want to go. I don't need anything else. I want to come down and join the Botanical Gardens. Whether not just to join to say, hey, I'm a member and I can come in and visit whenever I want, but there's also opportunities for people to volunteer their time, because I saw people that were there volunteering their time as well. So can you just talk about those two things, and then
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
wrap it up?
Thanks, Randy. I would be happy to, and thanks for setting that up so neatly for me. I really appreciate it. Yes, you are right. We are extremely grateful to our members. We are really, really fortunate to have the support that we do from the community, and they make so much of what we do possible. We have simplified our membership levels since I got here, so it's really easy to pick the membership that's going to make the most sense for you. There's an individual membership, a dual membership, which is 2 adults, and then a family membership. And we've actually expanded the benefits that are included there. So now the family membership covers 2 adults and then up to 5 children. And we consider a child now to be anyone under the age of 17. So you get some really great value for money there. We also have thoughtfully revisited our discounts that we offer on general admission. So if you are a member of the military, current or former, a student or an educator, or of course over the age of 65, any of those qualifications make you eligible for a discount into to the garden. We're really proud to be able to do that and to serve a diverse community as best we can and create that access. On the volunteer side of things, we are always looking for volunteers. For me, as I think about the history of this organization, um, opened in '07, but you know, conceived in '93, '94. And this was what I like to lovingly refer to as pre-Crystal Bridges, Northwest Arkansas. So for a group of dedicated volunteers at that time to, just through sheer passion and stubbornness, have bootstrapped this place into existence in a Northwest Arkansas that wasn't yet having a conversation about regional amenities is remarkable to me. We're very fortunate that we've got so many of those earliest supporters and volunteers still with us. Some of them serve on the board, some of them help us out in our admissions office. And then those who are interested, of course, are still out there in the garden making this such a beautiful place. So I would encourage you, if you'd like to learn more about membership or if you want to learn about getting involved, we would love to have you. Everyone is welcome here. Check out bgozarks.org. I also, on a personal note, our team's contact information is on our website. That's on purpose. We want you to feel like you can pick up the phone, give us a call, or shoot us an email. We're here to help.
Well, Ashley, that was wonderful. I mean, as executive director, I think we're all excited about the prospects for the future of BGO. It clearly they are in great hands with you, and we really appreciate you kind of giving us an overview of what to expect if we come and visit the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. And I want to encourage everyone to take Ashley up on everything that she mentioned today. Check out the website. We'll put a link to the website down below this video. All of this information is also on the episode of the podcast, which is episode 278, I believe, of this week. And it's just all about the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. There is a video there that you can check out. And there's just so much information that you can glean from that particular episode. And also, we even got featured on KUAF's Ozarks at Large this particular week in this episode on this past Tuesday. So if you follow KUAF, which I would encourage you to do as they are a partner with us here at I Am Northwest Arkansas, I would tell you to go back and check out and listen to that segment that they included there on Ozarks at Large. It's just another reason and a reminder why programs and facilities like the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks are places that we need to visit as often as possible. When guests come in from out of town, family comes to visit you, you want to show them why you love Northwest Arkansas so much. The Botanical Garden of the Ozarks, visiting them and spending some time in that beautiful facility and just walking the grounds will make you realize why you now call this place home. So I really want to encourage you to take advantage of that. And if for no other reason, for all the amazing work that Ashley Wardlow and her team are doing at the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. So without further ado, I really want to encourage you to do that. So Ashley, thank you so much for visiting with us, and we really appreciate all that you're doing. And we look forward to visiting with you again down the road as you continue to see some of your initiatives come to pass. But we appreciate you.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it. Come see us in the garden anytime.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. Just a quick live stream on I Am Northwest Arkansas. We appreciate you checking us out. Remember, you can find our podcast wherever great podcasts can be found, especially Apple Podcasts. And our episodes come out every Monday, rain or shine. I always like to say that's my little inside joke, but we really encourage you to check out the podcast, share it with a friend. And if you are working for a company here in Northwest Arkansas, trying to encourage people to come relocate here, to come work here, I can't think of a better resource than the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. So we encourage you to check that out and share it with a friend, because we always say sharing is caring. I'm Randy Wilburn, the host of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, and we'll see you back here soon with another live stream highlighting something amazing here in Northwest Arkansas, like the Botanical Garden of the Ozarks. We'll see you soon. Peace.